Good morning, everybody. I've got a smile on my face there. I have no idea why. Maybe I just love Thursdays. Mad. Anyway, we're going to run through the latest United news. As always, welcome to United People's TV. I think we're going to have a bit of a fun show today. Shoulders are bouncing. Anyway, we're also going to speak about the latest United news as well as laughing at Liverpool. Come on. We're going to speak about Mainoo, Zirkzee, Stiller, Anderson. We're also then going to have a conversation about a little bit of a look ahead towards Forest. We'll speak about Casemiro in particular. We'll speak about Bruno, and some mad thing I found yesterday, which I want to run through probably at the end of the show. I don't know whether it's completely true or not, but anyway, I'll run through it. Let me see who's here from the mods and the member gang. Let's say hello, and let's get on with today's show. Good morning to, and yep, always enjoy this morning slot for the live show. It's a great slot, 10 a.m. Great slot. Slot machines as well. Yeah, never mind. Josh, good morning to you. Carl, good morning to you. Who else we got down here? We've got Daz, we've got Steve Denham, we've got Ed, we've got John, we've got Sasha, we've got Craig, Paul, and Mike. Carrick fan, how you doing, buddy? John, good morning to you. Should we? Oh, my wrist clip there. Should we go on with today's show? First thing I want to say, you know the drill by now. Well, maybe you don't. You're getting used to it. New podcast is out. Me, Dan, and Nick. We recorded it last night. We're speaking about sort of the news that's happened this week. There's a little conversation around where football's going, whether set pieces are becoming more important. Do you think like it's just certain conversations that I can see going around. We spoke about, of course, Amorim, about United, and we previewed the game against Forest. So, hopefully you enjoy it. It's out now on Spotify. It's out now on Apple. And at 7 p.m. tonight, it will be dropped on the main YouTube channel as well. And that's the only place right now where you can get the video version of the pod. Hopefully, we might have it on Spotify soon in the next couple of weeks. Working on that, all right? So I hope you enjoy it. And if you do enjoy it, can you please make sure you leave a review, leave a 5-star, leave a comment wherever you can. The mailbag, as I realised this actually, for the mailbag, if you want to email in, you can email in podcast@unitedpeoples.tv. The phone number, also you can send in WhatsApp voice notes, is in the description of it. But you can also just leave a comment on the Spotify if you want to. So if you want to, go over there. Now. Banging tune. I told you I was going to be insufferable. It's only the beginning. Do you know what, right? You know what's made it so crap, United being crap, for a long old time? Is at the exact same time as Fergie left, Liverpool's ascendancy happened. And it made it 10 times worse. So you know what's making this 10 times better? Watching Ruben Amorim go on a 3-win streak, and it feels like a bit of confidence is coming back into the team. It's watching these whoppers absolutely hit full-blown crisis. And I don't know what it is. And again, maybe I'm just more acutely aware of this when it comes to Liverpool managers. Why is it that they blame everything else apart from themselves? Like, look, Jurgen Klopp, the grass was too long. The wind was in the wrong direction. Only had 2 Weetabix for breakfast. Sod knows. Arne Slot last night. After the summer they've had. The audacity to... Yeah, but... Oh, I can't do a Dutch accent. To try and complain about the squad depth is hilarious. And again, I don't know whether this is just a Scouse thing. But during everything that I saw from Ruben Amorim, I didn't particularly see any outward fingers pointing. It was all internal. It was all about us. It was all about me. It was all about we need to fix our problems. Whereas it seemingly, like you saw against when we beat them. Oh, I didn't start Šeško. They started him in the last couple of games. Why didn't they do that? Oh, they did. It seems like a Scouse thing, like to just blame everybody else when it's you. And mate, that's a full blown crisis now. I know it was only their sort of second string team against Crystal Palace yesterday, but that's what 6 out of 7, 7 out of 8, 6 out of 7. And the next 3 games are Villa, Real Madrid, and then City away. I do like a bit of music. Anyway, I very much enjoyed that. And as I said, it's what made the downfall so much harder. Because it was matched by watching them have success. It's just, I would love the shoe to be back on the other foot. And I've told you this quite a lot of times, how insufferable I'm going to be when United are back on top. And I really hope we're going to be sad that I saw this going around on Twitter earlier. Sky Sports, obviously, when Solskjaer lost 5 out of his last 7 games. Whoa. Crisis point. I'm looking forward to seeing what the media coverage is going to do on Arne Slot, given how hard they went in on Ruben Amorim. Had about 400 articles every single day. Let's find out. Let's see what goes on. I enjoyed that. It's good fun. And this as well. Like, Chelsea, I think, did they win last? They win 4-3 last night. I think it was Gittin scored an absolute banger of a goal. But Rory Delap. I remember I swear there were certain fans who were going out like saying, "Oh, United missed out on Delap, failure by Ineos, failure by the team." United went after Delap because he was a market opportunity. 30 million, Premier League proven. Would he have been the best striker available? No, but in a summer where our budget, well, we felt it was more limited than it was at that time. It felt like United were trying to take advantage of that. He chose Chelsea. Bit of a weird one. That was his choice. Not exactly upset about missing out on him, though. Yeah, so he got sent off for 2 yellow cards, and then Maresca's thrown him straight under the bus. Frank, you're saying glad we didn't sign him. So are you, Finn. So are you, Wands. Again, I think I've already done a video on this week, but it's refreshing. It's just refreshing that we're not the circus club. Full screen. Zoom in some more. Can't zoom in anymore. Anyway, I didn't even mean to do that. But it's refreshing that we're not the circus club, and it's refreshing that our summer transfer window isn't being pointed at as the window where money was wasted. I think some of these things you can only really gain in hindsight. Certain things. Because after the summer, there was so much frustration towards... I don't need to go into a whole conversation we've had before, but there was so much frustration towards not signing a midfielder. That's going to ruin our season, the start of the season that we had. I've went on record to say that I felt that it would have been a smarter use of money if United signed a big top midfielder rather than Šeško. It didn't mean that didn't mean that I thought Šeško was a bad signing, but it was the fact that I thought the strategy probably could have been played out differently. But finally, we've seen these last few games. We scored 4 against Brighton. We scored 2 against Liverpool. We scored 2 against Sunderland. We're scoring multiple goals per game, and that was the strategy. And I tell you what, there's a stat I'm going to show you about our conversion these last 3 games. I'll show you that in a bit. Boy, is that part of it. Right, what are you saying down here? Ineos did well, someone saying in that. Need a link to that tune to play to the Scousers. Special one. It's on the soundboard. We're developing our soundboard. We've got the elevator music in case anybody rings the doorbell. You got to deal with an empty chair and Fergie. Anyway, What are we saying down here? Love the sound. Sound like someone's in turmoil. Let's find out. I'm looking forward to seeing what the coverage is. Right. Now, yesterday, I'm sure you saw these. Luke Shaw. Should we just go through? No, don't go through more, actually. Luke Shaw on Instagram. Brian saying we scored 5 against Forest. Manifestation. I think Nick actually said that on the pod. We've all put our predictions in, and my starting 11 will go out tomorrow. So if you want to get the prediction in there too. But Luke Shaw did a little Instagram photo dump yesterday. Just some good vibes from Carrington. And I tell you what, Lenny Origut did dirty. Just a little zoom in on that bad boy. How you doing, Lenny? Mate, look at that combo. That is a hell of a combo. Jeez. It's like an Elton John number, that is. Anyway. Luke Shaw posted that. Rio was straight in the comments going, what is going on? Turns out that Lenny Yoro lost the crossbar challenge, and that was, I'm guessing, that was the forfeit. Jeez. What do you mean, why is he flipping off? Because he's sitting there in a gold glittered jacket and some flower-powered trousers. Might be a skirt. Don't quite know. Probably wasn't a skirt. Anyway, that's because he'd lost a little challenge on the training ground. Man United, when there's good vibes, it's such a good club, man. It's such an awesome club. And it's been a while, really. I can't remember the last time we had. Probably, I would say, Ten Hag's first season. I really felt like we were going somewhere there. But long may it continue. I think the influence of Cunha on his arrival, I think, and Bruno, I think, has made United a better place. Removing the likes of Garnacho and removing the likes of Sancho, it's made United a better place, right? And you know how many times I spoke about the fact that I know that we didn't get enough for Garnacho. Well, you look at him now at Chelsea, he had a bit of a stinker. Maybe that money will seem fair value. We didn't get enough, really, overall in this Rashford deal. We had to loan out Sancho again. We took some hits, some compromises to make the dressing room a better environment. Now, did we see the return on that early this season? Maybe, maybe not. There's never really been any and this is something I think you should probably take into account. We had a rough start to the season in terms of the results that we were getting, but I don't particularly think I saw anything. I saw maybe the sun, like Samuel Lockhurst pulling something out of his arse, like, oh, Ruben Amorim's lost the dressing room here and that. I didn't hear any of that, right? I didn't hear anything about. It might have been the Daily Mail. It might have been somewhere, but nowhere that I trust was suggesting that Ruben Amorim had lost the dressing room and it was a toxic environment in there, which is typically what happens when you go towards the end of a manager. I know it wasn't working, but it seems like the players were all on board still. And now the results are coming in. Makes it easier. Apart from Naniora. Poor lad. And you're saying the strength of the character of both Cunha and Mbeumo is having a positive effect in the dressing room. They're like the perfect yin and yang signings, aren't they? Like almost at the same. Are they the same age? Isn't Mbeumo younger? Brian and Mbeumo. No, he's 26. I think they're the same age. 26. But almost like opposing personalities and like complementary personalities. It seems like Mbeumo's coming out of his shell a bit more now. I think he said that in his first interview. Because I'm quite reserved at the start, but as soon as I get a bit more settled, and then you saw him dancing with Ahmad in the dressing room after the game against Brighton, got a big smile on his face, he's enjoyed himself. Yeah, both 26. Definitely the dressing room is just a significantly better environment. Also, the fact that it's a new environment. Carrington. Like, it must just be a much better place to go to work. Said this at the time. I remember when Ineos first came in and the conversations around the new stadium were being had, and I repeated and repeated and repeated. It's more important to get Carrington redeveloped and renovated than it is to build a new stadium. Because that's where players spend most of their time. That's where the majority of the mentality of the squad is shaped, I suppose. Fire and ice, someone saying down there. Man. I wonder if George Martin will ever finish the book. I think he ever will. My hands are freezing. It's cold in here. Anyway, yesterday's video. Said I was going to do it. And I did it. It was the video about sort of the debate around whether the changes have come from Ruben Amorim's approach and Ruben Amorim's tweaks, whether you think there's actually been any tweaks, or whether you think it's all just coming from player execution and player confidence. I honestly feel that it's both at the same time. It's not one or the other. It's both of these two things. Random comment there from A-Man saying, what would you do if you had if your office had a jacuzzi? I probably wouldn't work that much. Be like, I've got a meeting. I've got a 20-minute meeting in the sauna. I'd love to get an ice bath and a sauna. I randomly watched the full Erling Haaland video last night. I watched bits of it. Man, I wish I could hate him. That lifestyle, man. Must be awesome. Playing football all day. Getting rub downs. Cooking a tomahawk steak. Going in your own ice bath. Going in your own sauna. Popping down to your own gym. It's nice. I get fired if my office had a jacuzzi. Maybe. Anyway, I did that video yesterday. And just a little follow-up stat on that, which I didn't include in the video yesterday, is this. I think it's quite obvious. But if there's one grab stat from that, what would you say is the biggest difference you can see? I'll wait till someone throws it in the comments, but I think it's pretty bloody obvious. My tune saying, I think the changes also come because Jim Ratcliffe backed Amorim. And again, this isn't Captain Hindsight. This isn't, I was right. But I said at the time, like, it was a very bold thing for Jim Ratcliffe to do that, but something that it would have created is it nipped any conversation in the bud about him being sacked. And that probably helped the environment. King Cantona, you're right. John, you're right as well. This is just, it's a big old shift, man. How many times have we spoken about this? United's conversion rate in the first 6 games. For every 100 shots we took, we scored 7.4 goals. That's what the conversion rate is. 20% it's gone up to. For every 100 shots, we're scoring nearly 3 times as many goals. That's a 1 in 5 conversion rate. That is top tier. I think if you can have that conversion rate across the course of the season, you are going to be, as long as you're creating enough chances, which United are and have been, you're going to be competing, man. If you can keep a conversion rate of 20%. Yeah, and it kind of makes it a bit weird. Like the XG's gone down, but the goals have gone up. How's that work? I suppose Cunha's goal might not have had that high an XG. Maybe in Bumo's, they were kind of well-crafted chances. It's just better finishing. It's better finishing, and that is part of how and why we are in a better position. That's again, I covered that in the video yesterday. I think it's all these things combined. The confidence is clearly up. Hence why our 2 centre-backs, Shaw and De Ligt, could step up and be aggressive in the press, which helped the press properly. I made the press complete. But that conversion rate there really caught my eye. So I hope that continues. If we get 10 shots against Forest and we score 2 of them, bingo bango. We'll probably win the game. Yeah, Dad, you're mentioning the fitness. We've looked fitter all season long. All season long, we've looked fitter. But yeah, let's speak about transfers now. Just a little brief conversation, actually, I want to... I'm just laughing at myself there. Just putting slot in the corner upside down. I was like, yeah. I enjoyed that. Richie saying we could have scored 6 on Sat. Easily. And we should have had a penalty as well. let's move on to speak about. We'll have some brief conversations around transfers, around Zirkzee, Mainoo, Stiller, and Anderson. All right. Timmy saying back to United at 66-1 for United, and now it's 25-1. Oh, very nice. Very nice. I mean, I don't think it's going to win, to be totally honest. I don't think we're going to win the league, but mate, Champions League spots are just so up for grabs. Man, what a difference it would make if we could just win these two last games and go into this final international break off the back of 5 wins. Man, the mood around the club would be fantastic. And just going into the busy, busy fixture period where December cranks up. That's where we're going to start playing midweek games. I think we've got 7 games in December. Something like that. Anyway, let's speak about Mainoo and Zirkzee. This is coming from Fabrizio Romano. He said the West Ham are interested in signing Kobe, yeah, good luck, and Zirkzee on loan in the January transfer window and have made calls to understand their situation, but United and Amorim are insisting on keeping them. Someone down there saying, if he can get 4th, I'd be happy. Like, dude, if we can sneak 5th, I'll be happy, because it seems like 5th is going to be where the Champions League places are going to go this season. Yeah, and if you'd had any conversations about United finishing 5th or 6th 3 weeks ago, this whole chat would have been a very, very different place. Ambition's always been a top 6 this season. If we can get into the top 5, even better. But on Zirkzee and Mainoo, it wouldn't surprise me if this stance... I care more about... No, I don't mean this in a disrespectful way to Zirkzee, but I care more about what happens with Kobe. Because I think Zirkzee will probably leave United. I think he'll definitely leave United in the summer. I think we'll get a good fee for him, and I think he'll probably go back to Italy, and I think he'll probably enjoy a good career there. But Kobe is... I don't want to see Kobe shining for other clubs. And it's in such a tricky position. And this is only my... I suppose it is speculative. But I've already spent it so many bloody times. It feels to me like the club's succession plan is Bruno leaving and Mainoo probably taking his spot in the squad, maybe in the summer. And if that happens, then the succession plan is there. But how do you keep Kobe happy enough between October and June? Especially with the World Cup coming up. Like, with the emergence of this man as well. By the way, the video is going to be ready. It's going to be going out at lunchtime today. We're aiming for 12. It'll be somewhere between 12 and 1. Will be our second scouting video. And this one is on Elliot Anderson. I'm telling you what. I'm seriously impressed by Elliot Anderson. More so after doing this video. But I think I've already asked you down here, like, what your predictions are. Toad, you're saying that, do we need Zirkzee? I don't. Hey, look, if we get an injury, then of course he will step in. But my first choice for the striker position is Šeško. Probably my second choice for the striker position is Cunha going central and then Mount going as the left attacking midfielder. There will be games and scenarios where, but like, I watched Zirkzee when he came on against Brighton, and then we were trying to put the balls up to him like we were putting the balls up to Šeško, but he just couldn't make it stick. It just kind of bounced off him in a way that it bounced off with Højlund. So what was working with Šeško wasn't then working with Zirkzee, so it kind of forced us to retreat a little bit. Someone down there saying should never have bought Zirkzee. No, I don't think United would have bought Zirkzee if we could have afforded Šeško at the time, but we couldn't. We pivoted. We went for Zirkzee. That's why we signed him. And then we signed Šeško the following summer. So then we've basically signed blockers for him. As for Kobe, I think my biggest fear, I've said this a few times, my biggest fear around Kobe is that if we do block his exit, and then he has absolutely no chance getting the World Cup squad. there's no guarantee he gets in the World Cup squad. If he was playing every week for Manchester United, I think he'd be in the conversation. But if you're looking at the players that are coming through and breaking through, that's what I mean about Elliot Anderson. Like, he has absolutely shone for England. If you're looking at the progress of this lad, I think a lot of his development has come because of how immediately he's settled into the England squad. Was it Andorra, Latvia, and Serbia? I think in Wales are the games that he's played. And he played alongside Declan Rice, playing in the anchor role. As I said, I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye on him. And I think you'll enjoy the video because I've learned a lot more about Elliot Anderson having researched and done that video. Someone down there, what are you saying? Sign Anderson and Wharton. Cobby still doesn't play, says Ant. Yeah, you seem to have... You clearly don't think that Cobby's right now ready for United. I think you've made that very clear for quite a long time. Jurel saying there's a possibility Bruno gets moved to a 10 when Mbuma goes to the African Cup of Nations. Yeah, we spoke about that on the pod, actually, about what happens. I think Bruno going further forward, and therefore minutes and opportunities coming for Cobby. That's like a month's worth of games. Yeah, that's like a month's worth of games where Cobby could play in central midfield alongside Casemiro and Bruno could play right attacking mid. Richard saying that was Cobby at the Euros. Yeah, Cobby had an incredible breakthrough at the Euros. I swear that Gareth Southgate was playing like a 3 at the back system as well. Can't quite remember. Look, I don't know what's going on with Zirkzee or Mainoo, but the suggestions are that both moves are going to get blocked in January. And if that is the case, I don't know how you keep either happy. Right. And this is a name that keeps coming up, so it's definitely going to name a name that we're going to add to the scouting list. So the first 4 scouting videos we're going to do, we've done Baleba, we've done Anderson, that's going to go out today. Next week, we want to do Wharton. And probably the week after, we'll do Angelo Stiller. And as I said, I really want to do one on Boadi at Lille, because I think that's a conversation that would be really interesting for United fans. So yeah, Angelo Stiller, as I said, I don't know enough about Angelo Stiller in the way that I didn't know enough about Elliot Anderson, and now I know a fair amount more. I think Elliot Anderson, of all the midfielders that we've been looking at, or will look at, he seems like the most all-action is the way I would describe it. Like if you look at Carlos Baleba, someone who is that progressive dribbler, he will take the ball and he will carry it through the lines. Incredible out of possession and a relentless work ethic. Adam Wharton is somebody who I think is more of a creator. Somebody who can control the game of football, is always a pass ahead, has great vision, short and long, and is fantastic at recycling possession and making sure that your team has control of the ball. That's what he strikes me as. And Elliot Anderson is a bit of a blend of both. He can be progressive. He wants to add more numbers to his game, but also out of possession, he is dynamic. He moves. He is mobile. He's got a great engine, great in the tackle and in set. As I said, watch the video. You'll learn a bit more about him. But on paper right now, he's probably one of them, arguably the most impressive of the options in terms of how the season's going. And then Stiller. As I said, I don't know enough about Stiller. Right? So I'm going to be doing a lot more research into Stiller. Interstellar? Whoa. Where's it? Play it. I want to go see Hans Zimmer again. Anyone else seen Hans Zimmer live? Get a chat. Love that. Anyway, a little bit of good news here. Speaking of circuses. Jadon Sancho. Good. He's not coming back. Vamos. Auf Wiedersehen. Ciao. Goodbye. Good riddance. I don't think they will. Remember the conversations that were being sort of had in the summer? The suggestions were that United might consider extending Sancho's contract. Either just so he can't leave as a free agent, or to try and get some money out of it. Yeah, I'd rather just sack him off, really. Don't really want the conversation anymore. Anyway, he got hooked. He came on and then got hooked, didn't he? He's sub-subbed. That's what he was. The sub-subbed. Twat. Just not a nice lad. Captain T1, how you doing, buddy? You're saying having an all-action midfielder is probably what Amorim believes Cobby needs. My issue is we don't really use our midfielders to control games. Well, if you're looking at sort of how United are playing right now and what's working for us right now, it's actually less control is giving us more control, which sounds like a really, really stupid thing to say on paper. But we're allowing, so we allowed this with Brighton. We allowed the opposition to have possession in non-threatening situations. So technically they have more possession. Technically they have more control of the ball. If you're looking at the stats after the game, but you're looking at how the game played. There were the times when Brighton were really dangerous against us. I think it was Minter, and I don't know who their other winger was. But they were making like diagonal runs inside and in between our centre backs. And then he kind of didn't know who to track and who to cover. Minty had caused us some real problems. But largely, we had the run of the game despite not having more of the ball. And maybe that is because we don't have the midfield to control it. Either way, it worked. Toad saying, what happens against Forest? Well, we spoke about that in the pod. If you want to go and listen to that. Me, Dan, and Nick had a conversation about it. And my starting 11 video is going to go out tomorrow. But you know exactly what the game against Forest is going to be like. You know they're going to play 4-4-2. You know they're going to defend their box in a 4-4-2 shape. Really compact, deep lines. United are going to have to try and get past Murillo and Milenkovic. They're physical. They're powerful centre-backs. It's going to be one of those games. Probably the exact game where United have fallen down at so often over the last few years. Low blocks and fast counters. We'll speak about it. Bit random. Remember we spoke about Kevin Filling, the 16-year-old from AIK in Sweden? Was a suggestion from Florian Plettenberg from Sky Sports Germany that United were considering a move for him, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, that's kind of been poo-pooed by Stephen Ralston from Manchester Evening News. I can't remember who else as well. But that basically saying the complete opposite. So I don't know whether that name was just made up. Hands up for the Panther with a top-tier username. Man, I used to love Pink Panther. I've got like the DVD. Mum got it for me for Christmas once. I've got the full like DVD box set somewhere. I haven't actually got a DVD player anymore though. Is that online anywhere? Who owns Pink Panther? Is it Disney? Don't know. Anyway, Forest say 100 mil for Anderson. We walk away. Not worth it. Teams demand insane prices. Add impossible pressure on players. Worse for United. Yeah, I wouldn't want us to spend 100 mil on a midfielder. I would say the exact same thing for Baleba, for Wharton, for Anderson. Any midfielder that whose name you could throw at me, I wouldn't want United to spend 100 mil on them. And it is a mad. It's kind of hard to stop with the way that the game is going. But like Florian Wirtz being a £130 million player, like that must just play through his head constantly. Like being a 100 mil plus player must be like you would never vocalize it, you never verbalize it, but you'd be having that conversation in your head the whole time, and it would put extra pressure on said player. By the way, obviously, old school Pink Panther. Come on. Who do you think I am? Shh. I'm not talking about the movies, by the way. I'm talking about like the animated Pink Panther. Like I swear they were little like 10, 15-minute short episodes where he'd do something crazy. I remember there was one episode where he was like, on the beach doing weightlifting, like popping pins in people. That was one. Anyway, you know randomly who I think might score against Forest? What do we think? Casemiro with a late run into the box, a little cheeky diving header. I could see it happening. I really could see it happening. And like when it comes to like football revisionism and stuff like that, and I think it might be some United fans trying to catch out other United fans going, well, no, you can't say that because you said this before. Like I stand by what I said. I think Casemiro should be shaken. And I don't ever say it in a disrespectful, non-professional way. I think if I was to say it whenever I've ever done that before, I've probably done that with Harry Maguire. I think I've probably done it with Luke Shaw as well. I feel like I'm a little bit spent on Luke Shaw. And to be fair to him, he's started all 9 games this season. Like Casemiro, it's just the right decision for the club. Even if he continues his form until for the rest of the season, it doesn't mean that he should get a new contract. And a 1-year rolling contract on half wages? I mean, I don't know why he'd sign that. I don't think he would sign that. But I'm really enjoying watching Casemiro in these last few games. A bit like last season in the Europa League. You know, when he found that form, you're like, oh, there he is. He's found it again this season. He clearly wants himself to be as fit and ready as possible for that last hurrah with Brazil at the World Cup. Random question this. Probably. Do you think that Casemiro will retire after the World Cup? Type yes or no in the comments. Like, go out on a high and then maybe win the World Cup with Brazil. I think if Brazil won the World Cup, I think he would. Definitely. Man, leave when you're at the top. Leave when you're at the peak. I don't know whether he would or not. I actually don't know how old he is. How old is he? 33? Stevie's saying depends what he wants for the rest of his career. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, there's certain players, right, that you get. There's certain players that they just want longevity. They don't really care like who they play for. It's like, as long as I'm still playing football, like go Saudi or I don't know, go to the MLS and just like continue playing football. I mean, Casemiro will probably do that, wouldn't you? I would if I was him. Go to like play for Inter Miami or something. Messi's just signed a new contract as well. But Casemiro doesn't strike me because he's like an elite player. Like he wants to play at the very top. It doesn't strike me that he wants to go to Saudi, even for the money. I think MLS is a pretty good shout. Steve saying you apologise for the Maguire diss. Still waiting for the Shaw one. I didn't do like 3 videos specifically titled around Luke Shaw. If I'm being completely honest. I didn't go anywhere near as hard on Shaw because Shaw wasn't our captain. And Shaw has had a lot of physical problems. It's just, it frustrated me, and it always will. Like going back to that 4 months without playing, play for England at the Euros, and then be out for the first 5 months of the season. Anyway, Casemiro. Might put a cheeky little tenner on him to score a header on Saturday. And this stat here, I want to pull this stat up. Because this stat is mad. Really is. And it goes to show you how normalised we all are to seeing these sorts of stats with Bruno. Because no one's really said anything about it. It's from Opta. Bruno has created the most chances in the Premier League this season. Yep. And since his United debut in February 2020, he's created 115 more chances than any other player across Europe's big 5 leagues. I mean, you're taking the piss. That's not like always just about the next. 115 more chances than any other player that's played in Europe's top 5 leagues in the past 5 years. It is a joke. That's what I mean. Like we're so normalised to hearing about how good a chance creator Bruno Fernandes is that you just look at this and you go, eh. But it's the complete opposite of that. It's like, what? You being for real? Playing, bloody hell. Really annoying because I'm looking at Cunha and Abouma. I'm going, these are the 2 players I'm really enjoying watching this season, but you're both playing in the number 10 roles. Dorney is saying that people say that Bruno's a problem. I don't think people say Bruno is a problem. I think people say Bruno in a central midfield position is the problem. Bruno out of position is the problem, rather than Bruno himself. And that's a consequence of the strategy that the club went for by signing 2 number 10s. But that's what I mean. Like, it's so nuts that people just don't. They look at that and go, yeah, well, that's normal, isn't it? And it's completely not normal. It is an absolute anomaly. 115 more chances than any other player across the last 5 seasons. It's crazy. See lots of you speaking about him down here. 1 second, you, sir. It's all right. It's been dealt with. Gungshi, I see you down there cracking that hammer. Elbow. People's elbow. Can't believe the Rock nickname from me. Should sue him, really. MD saying he's not really out of position as he's not a number 10 in this formation anyway. And he would be. He absolutely would be. And this as well. We speak about the output of Mbeumo, and this is not new. I think last season, overall in the Prem, I think there was only one more, I don't know who it was, but there was only one player who made more off-the-ball runs than Mbeumo. And right now, he's made 141 in behind the defenses, which is 19 more than any other player. So as much as we can speak about Mbeumo's output, it's his work ethic as well, his relentlessness. You know, certain players can do that. I remember Rashford doing this quite a few times. And not just Rashford, it just happens a lot. It's just I remember Rashford. You know, with certain attackers, they'll be on the line, on the last line, and they're making that run in behind. And they don't get the ball. Certain players, they just keep doing it. They just keep going and going and going. Doesn't matter if it takes you 9 runs from me for you to finally get that ball over, because I know that 9th time I'm going to be scoring from it. That's what Mbeumo has. Like he doesn't seem to get shoulders down or saying, "Oh, pass me." He doesn't get frustrated by it. He just keeps going because eventually I know it's going to come through. When it comes through, I need to be in the perfect position at the right time. So you can see exactly why the strategy was for Mbeumo and Cunha. Because as much as their on-the-ball qualities are really shining through, it's their off-the-ball ethics which are being used as examples. Cunha, especially defensively against Brighton, was held as an example by Ruben Amorim. It's something he really praised. And Cunha is more involved in a lot more of the game than Mbeumo is. But as you can see here, Mbeumo never stands still. He's always working. He's always making the runs. Even if you can't see it on camera, he's always making those runs. Zirkzee saying Mbeumo and Cunha are well scouted. It's the Prem, man. And again, I think this is exactly how, this is United's new strategy. We spoke about it in the summer. It was a bit of a secret. I say, what is it? An open secret, if you could call it that. Fergie's success, looking outside of the top 6, traditional top 6, and who's the best talent. And right now, I swear, fire it in the comments, ladies and gents. What players outside of the traditional top 6 do you think, well, they're going to be ready for that next move up? Elliot Anderson is obviously one. Adam Wharton, or just players that we could and should be looking at this summer. Elliot Anderson, Adam Wharton, Carlos Baleba, Morgan Rogers. We can't really sign Morgan Rogers because we've got Cunha and we've got Mbeumo, but Morgan Rogers is ready for that big step up as well. Semenyo, that's a really good one. Good shout. Who else we got? I like, is it Michael Diode, the Brentford one? He looks class. Mark Gahey, yeah, I think you could throw that in to have a conversation about him. Quite a few of you are saying him down there. What else we got down here? Sanderberg. I think if we were going to look at him, we would have done that already. Sam, you saying Morgan Gibbs White? Well, he just signed a new contract with Forest. I don't really think that's going to be a conversation. Yeah, someone else down there saying Coyote at Brentford. Munoz. I'm not sure I'd say Munoz. Ismail Sarr. Mate, yeah. Morgan Gibbs White is 100% a United fan. The way that he speaks. Someone's saying and die down there. Jarrod Bowen. It feels like Jarrod Bowen's definitely leaving West Ham surely this season. Wonder where he goes. Kind of thinks of a Spurs player. Don't know. We'll see. Gungshi, thank you very much for gifting 10 down there. Thank you very much for modding the chat. Keeping it civil. Keeping it civil down there. Speaking about keeping it civil. Mintek, a good name down there as well. Kevin Schade at Brentford, another good name. Anyway, all jokes aside. Hayden Hackney, Madison, There's some good names down there. But I think the point is, the Premier League really does have a lot of quality spread through the teams. And we did it with Cunha. We did it with Mbumo. And I very much expect it to be a strategy that United go for in the next couple of windows. Probably our two biggest signings, or two of our biggest signings, I think will come from the Prem. And I think that's the right thing to do. Right. Last couple minutes of the show. Or last minute of the show. Any questions you want to fire in, please do. Can I ask you, ladies and gents, as I said, the latest episode of the pod is out. Look, the ad's at the top there. That's good timing. Oh, over there. Me, Dan, and Nick, we're going to be new episodes on Monday and Thursday. Go out on Spotify and Apple, and they'll be out on the YouTube channel at 7 p.m. All right? Sam, give us a song title. I can't remember. I've just called it Circus. Oh, Ed, you're saying lose the music. You upset? Your mum's upset? Anyone else watch Chopper? I haven't watched Chopper in ages. I used to love that film. It's strategy Munich was doing in the Bundesliga. Nah, Munich in the Bundesliga. They don't sign the best out of the traditional top six. They're like, what rivals have we got? And let's just take their best player. That's exactly what they do. What do you think about the opportunities to get Gay here? I think that's in the same way maybe that we went after Liam Delap last season because he was an opportunity. If he's a free agent, why wouldn't you offer him a deal and give him a choice to make? Danny, you have a massive forehead in that podcast picture. It's not very nice, is it? Probably because I'm doing that. Seems like a reasonable forehead. I'll take that. Anyway, thank you all for tuning in. I think you all enjoyed that show. I enjoyed it too. Now, lunchtime video today is going to be the scouting special on Elliot Anderson. I'll be here tomorrow morning with a live show. Tomorrow lunchtime, it's going to be the starting 11 for Forest. Then we'll be here for the Forest game on Saturday. Enjoy your Thursday, people. Thank you all for tuning in. And I'll see you for a double drop today. As I said, Elliot Anderson and then the podcast video later on. See ya.